We are live. We are live with brother Metamorphosis, and he's going to drop it even deeper. He's going to go deep today, and we're going to go swinging for the fence every time we go live and every time we communicate and share uh, all of our work. And I'm here to support brother Neil Frazier, aka Metamorphosis, and I'm going to put the banner so you can see him live in living color. Oh, I have too many actual additions. You see how much backup I got on that screen? I got the
Yeah.
phone, I got the PC, and I got the Apple computer backing us up. But we don't want to see all that, brother. We want to see you. We
All
want to
right.
see you, brother. So, how's everything been going? And please let us know this title, Nature, our first teacher, the Cocoon experience. This is right up your alley. And I see that gravity's working there, pushing something next to you. So don't worry about that, brother. We're looking at you and we're listening to everything that you have to say. And I'm just this is a very important time period for us. And I just want to say this because I'm gonna shut up because I know you got some teaching. This is a very important time period for us because there's a lot of fear mongering going on out here in the media.
Yeah.
The leaders in the engineered system, especially in America and the UK and where they rule, they're very upset that social media is working good. It's a double-edged sword. Years ago,
Yeah.
they had propaganda out there that we only could just absorb through their news platforms and newspapers and evening news. Now we can have people to talk with each other. This is why channels are getting shadow banned and shut down. They don't want us talking to each other. And they say it in a very masked way. This individual, I won't go in on her too hard, but Kamala Harris, she basically said this the other day that social media is promoting a lot of hate speech, is promoting stuff. But wait a second, wait a second. What about the actions of hate to not allow us to have our First Amendment rights, which is not about the
Exactly.
government giving us that. That's a creator given right that we can speak and communicate, but they cannot control the narrative. This is why they don't like shows like this where you break it down intelligently and logically without the emotionalism that they try to use on us to have us on a one-sided communication. But I will say this, everybody listening within the sound of my voice, we need to get each other's email addresses so we can communicate directly. These platforms are still owned by other people that don't like what they do. They shadow ban us, they reduce our reach, they kill channels. We've got to have a way of directly speaking to each other. So if you have to make up an alternative email address and put it out there, say, hey, Lance, put this out there for all the people that we can talk to. Something goes down, even still, they can shut down the system where we can't even use our phone. So even that would be futile, but it's better because in the near future, they're going to have different lanes of the internet where it will not be affordable for most people. This is what's coming. And they'll have another version where it's going to be very limited, but every level will be monitored. So the days of free speech on these paid and free platforms that have ads on it, it's soon going to be over. Mark my words. I can see
I
it. I've
believe.
been out here a long time, and too many people are talking about it. They've been doing little things to people's channels, but we're surviving. I'm going to survive. You know, they took the other channel. I still got stuff to upload on different means and secret means and way, but it's going to have to be where we have our underground internet railroad as melanated people who speak truth. That's what we're going to have to focus on. Don't let it take you by surprise. Brother Neil, if they shut the internet down and I try to make a phone call to you, it won't be possible. We won't be able to
Oh,
communicate. We have to know where we are with each other so we can find each other, those people that we trust. The fringe people, well, you're going to have to step it up. But the people who are real, we're going to have to give personal information to say, hey, this is where I live. This is my number. Even though numbers won't be good anymore, but we still need to know they have a plan. Just like when they have a fire drill and the kids come out and they go run this way and run that way, it's embedded in you on how to react when this thing happens because they're going to shut the system down temporarily to create
mhm.
mayhem. They're going to bring it back, but they're going to bring it back in a controlled way. And you have no privacy. Anybody
Yeah.
listen to this, the internet, you have no privacy for a long time. For the last 2 decades plus, after 911, you have no privacy. So get over it. I'm not saying that to you. I'm just saying for the people who think they have it. Now, let me shut up, brother. I know you have a lot to share tonight, and we are here. I made it in the nick of time. I had some obstacles in the way. I had a heck of a week, and this is why I haven't had a chance to do live shows, but I've been trying to still put up content. I'm glad you're here. Much love and respect from everybody who's listening. And let's rock, brother. Let's rock.
Well, kudos to you, brother Lance. You always seem to come up with the right analogy at the right time, and I couldn't agree with you more. That now, as we were talking earlier, they're in a state of panic because now they didn't anticipate that the algorithms will really bypass their control mechanisms. And so they have really created a problem for themselves while trying to block us, which is really impossible. But I do agree with you that they're going to get so frustrated with the fact that they can't stop the tsunami of truth that's coming out now, that they're going to do something very drastic. And one of the issues that we have always had is that we do crisis management as opposed to preparing. When these things are shown to us, we need to start preparing right now rather than wait until the shoe falls and then try to react to it. And and so before I get started, I just want to greet you, brother. Always good to be with you on Mondays. I want to greet everyone in the chat room and under the sound of my
Likewise.
voice. Yes, sir. And we are in a very crucial time. Um, it's just amazing how you have your finger on the pulse of what's happening, because I know you deal with this every day, all day long. But again, I want to caution our people, we have to come together in terms of how we communicate and what our common goals are, because the game plan that is set up for us, okay, we've already been hoodwinked, literally, and they have new things set up to stop our people's growth and development, which they can't do, but they can certainly raise the level of stress and anguish that we experience in our everyday lives. So, one of the things that I promised Brother Lance was that I was gonna, brother, I have like about 11 manuscripts of books that I have not published yet, because I have so many different projects going on, and I'm starting to narrow things down. But the one thing that has come to me as I begin to go back through my work is that this is not about making money off of selling books. This is about revelations that were given to me that I've written out in the last several years that should be presented to our people. And it has nothing to do with trying to become a millionaire, trying to make money off of this. This is strictly for us to learn and grow from what each other brings to the table. So what I decided to do, I started to I'm going to start doing a series with the manuscripts, and I'm going to start out today with my signature work, uh, Nature, Our First Teacher, the Cocoon Experience, and the introduction to the book. So many of you know that the core curriculum of the Academy is rooted and grounded in the lessons in nature. And so my name, stage name, Metamorphosis, actually comes from this. But it's deeper than that, in the sense that there are things that we see every day that we don't see. And this is a process that has been going on for 2000, almost 2000 years, because we have gone completely to the opposite spectrum of the polarity. Okay, which means that, so I'll give you an example and then I'll get into the cocoon experience. Um, because one of the things that we have been hoodwinked about is the fact that there, so on the same wavelength, hot and cold exists. In fact, there is no such thing as cold. Cold is only the absence of heat because heat makes the molecules in the universe and on the planet move. And it's the same thing with us as sun people, that when we are not moving in nature, then we're going against our nature, if that makes sense to you. So what I'm going to do these next couple of shows is that I'm going to deal with the introduction of the book, and the goal is to show that by nature being our first teacher, it actually was the impetus for how we grew as a culture, as a society, and a civilization prior to the invasions of our lands. And we're going to show the different parallels that exist between nature, okay, or I should say, the different aspects and elements of nature, and how they are a blueprint for what our lives are supposed to be. So again, this is my signature series. It's come in. Yeah, I'm doing my show. Oh, okay. Thank you. All right. Hold on. Uh, thank you. So, yeah. Sorry about that. Had some mail delivered to me. So, anyway, this series will actually open our eyes to something very, very important, because in the beginning, well, let me go back here. When I say that nature was our first teacher, I mean that it was our first teacher. So the original people, our people, they looked to the heavens and the stars and all of the elements in the universe to define our existence. And this is where so people ask me, well, why do you call the Academy of Netter? Because Netter is the ancient term for nature, or Mut Neter. Okay, this is where these concepts originated from. And what we have to understand about concepts is that you cannot have language, you cannot have language or any type of science or philosophy or even the religion that you believe in or religions without the original concepts that we lived by. So to give an example, whenever the North Star appeared in August, every August, I believe it was August the 8th, our people knew that there was going to be an overflowing of the Nile, and so that there would be fertile soil that we could plant. Okay, and when you live according to nature, when you can look at the different cycles of the seasons and you interpret this, your natural intelligence is actually much greater than what you have been taught is intelligence. Okay, so let's get into the introduction of the cocoon experience. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a few paragraphs, and then we'll discuss that paragraph and its significance, and then we'll move on to the next paragraphs. Um, So there are many parallels in nature to the human experience. One of the greatest parallels in nature is the metamorphosis of the caterpillar to the butterfly. Okay. In fact, the lessons taught in nature and the transformations in the human life cycle are almost mirror images of each other. In each stage of development, there are new tests and challenges to overcome. From the egg to the butterfly, it is a never ending battle to reach the summit, which is life's purpose, your natural gifts. And it is a journey of highs and lows, ups and downs to reach the summit. The journey of both is fascinating, with the risks lurking at every turn. Both the butterfly and the humans experience this. The cocoon experience will take you deep into this experience. So, what I'm really talking about here is the fact that there are great parallels between this signature lesson that is in nature with the caterpillar and the butterfly. Now, it's very important to distinguish between the two realities. The one reality is that we operate on a caterpillar frequency. And the reason why we operate on a caterpillar frequency is by design. And this is why there are so many parallels to our existence. Well, let's just take our existence as Black people here in America. Okay, every time that you get to the stage where you're going into a change, because that's all metamorphosis means, there is something that takes you back. And again, this is done on purpose by those who recognize that nature is your greatest teacher, is your greatest strength. So, this is why you are taught that material things um, are actually what makes you a successful person. But in reality, what makes you a successful person in life is recognizing what your natural gift is and then acting upon that gift to give to the world. Now, this has been hijacked from our people because whenever you look at the situation that we're talking about today in terms of the caterpillar and the metamorphosis into a butterfly, the reality is much of our experiences in America have been at the caterpillar level. And I often I often ask this question once this was revealed to me is what is it that keeps our people from actually recognizing what our real strength is? And one of the things that does this is a active upload, a constant upload or attack, and you can look at it as weapons attack against the foundational principles in nature. And this is done to make you believe that nature is somehow inferior to the artificial narratives that you have been given to live by. So I want to focus on a few things here um, in order to bring this out a little more. Okay. Now we talked about We talked about how these experiences that we have in life are parallel to a caterpillar. Okay, and I'm going to show you, and I'm going to show you how that fact is a reality for us. Um, if you ever observe caterpillars and their natural habitat, which I have to get more of a comprehension of this natural process, one of the things that they seem to, one of the realities that they seem to live in, which parallels humans or parallels our situation here in America, is that they don't seem to recognize the danger zones that are established to stunt our growth and development. Okay, and we know a lot of that because it's not that we don't recognize this, it's that we don't formulate any type of plan of action, okay, to actually deal with this. Okay, but like I said before, the transformations in the human life cycle are mirror images of what happens in the lives of a caterpillar and its quest to metamorphosize into its higher consciousness. The other thing that I looked at was the fact that there are two realities here, okay? And we'll get into that a little more as we get a little more into the introduction, that there are two realities here, and this directly shows us the purpose of these realities, how these realities are manipulated, okay, through deception, and also why these realities are manipulated. So I'm gonna start out with this statement as we continue through this introduction, that you can't have butterfly conversations with caterpillar people. Okay, and this is something that's very important when you're transitioning from the caterpillar state or the state of being unaware, okay, of the things around you that actually affect the quality of your life and the reality that you live in every day. So, have you ever seen butterflies with caterpillars? No. And even though they both have a biological, psychological, and spiritual connection, okay, in fact, the butterfly through metamorphosis actually comes from the experience of the caterpillar. Once the two manifestations happen, then you don't see them coming back together. And that was another thing that I looked at in terms of what's going on with our people. When you separate from caterpillar frequency, and this is why people like Brother Lance are constantly under attack. Once you have manifested to your butterfly state in your higher consciousness, and now you're looking down and realizing that you have people playing chess, moving things around, but now you can actually see this, or like a Monopoly game, then you see all of these different attempts to block you. Okay. And this in itself is very, very significant. Okay. But the point is that you will never see, just go somewhere where you see butterflies. You'll never see a butterfly with a caterpillar. Never. But yet we're talking about two people. I'll give you an example. You can have two siblings, that are born and raised in the same environment, but they both have different ways or realities in their lives. They become, two separate people. This is what has happened with our people, that the 90-degree narratives that certain people who control these narratives live by have become the definition, the very definitions by which we live by. And so there is always a constant effort to keep you from getting to the cocoon stage where this change has to take place. And I mentioned in the previous video that we have to have a paradigm shift. We have to have a plan B, because the forces all around us have already been put into motion. It's it's really strange how we can have these conflicts with each other openly anywhere. But when we're talking about addressing these issues that are directly pointed at us as a people, then somehow we fail to see the reality we're living in. But here's the other thing, that the caterpillar and the butterfly, the reason why you never see them together is because they live in two different realities. Okay. And this, and to further bring out this point, is that it shows the two different realities of people of the sun and people of the ice. And these are two different realities that we must begin now to comprehend and understand, so that we can formulate, because we can't continue to operate under the same realities that we have for almost 500 years in this country. And you can go back through every stage of our realities here, and you can see that at each stage there was a mountain put there, okay, but not necessarily by the people who designed these systems to keep us from moving into our cocoon experience, but much of it comes from our inability to interpret our true existence, which is rooted in nature. Okay, but at the end of the day, there would be no butterflies without caterpillars. Now, hold on to that thought, because that's very important. See, sometimes what we don't recognize, and I was saying this to a friend the other day, two things, is that people like to say, well, adversity reveals character. I disagree, because our character is always going to be with us, or in us. But adversity reveals your character. Okay, and what I mean by that is that the reality of your existence and how you determine that reality will be revealed, or is always revealed, when these mountains are put up in front of us. And fairness to our people, we have always been able to get to the summit. Okay, but when we got to the summit, okay, just like the allegory of the mountaintop experience, when we got to the summit, then we were presented, okay, with things. Well, I'll give you this if you worship me, or I'll make you famous. I'll give you all this attention, all this glory if you worship me and turn your back on your creator. And this is what, and we see this playing out in front of the world now, how they will give you this fiat, if you reject all of the principles that have been given to us, the original people, if you reject that, I'll give this to you, but it will only be for a short period of time. And then I'm going to shame you before the world, or I'll cause you to do behaviors that will shame you before the world. But your purpose has been served, because now you have generations of young Black men wanting to be like you. And now we're going to show them that when you do submit to this wickedness, what your outcome is going to be. And I always like to use movies as analogies. And this movie called Wishmaster is a perfect one to bring home this point, that you can have, okay, I can give you anything you wish, but I'm coming back for your soul at some point. Now, you're not told that in the beginning, but what happened in this movie towards the end, the Wishmaster came back to claim all of the souls, okay, that were given these wishes for fame and fortune or whatever they wanted. Okay, and these are the consequences of violating natural laws. And a lot of, at first I didn't really want to look at this, although I knew this was true, that a lot of the reasons why, and even in nature, only a third of caterpillars actually have a cocoon experience and become butterflies. Now, this is in nature as well. And then I looked at the conditions of our people, and I realized something here, that there is a great parallel between that particular reality I just mentioned in nature, okay, and the reality of our people. But before we explore this point any further, let's go back to the beginning where it all started, and I'll show you the parallels as we move along. So as a child, or as a caterpillar, we start out just as the caterpillar does. We are fragile, we are dependent, and we're vulnerable. Okay, so as a caterpillar exhibiting childlike behaviors, or I should say, as an adult exhibiting caterpillar and childlike behaviors, this is the state we find ourselves in, regardless to who comes to this country, or what cultures invade our communities. We find ourselves always in this position, like the caterpillar, fragile, dependent, and vulnerable. Okay, and this has a lot to do with the psychological state we find ourselves in, because again, we do have to make a decision about how we're going to move forward as a people. We cannot leave this up to other people, but we have a great tsunami in front of us. And that is because our natural realities have been usurped. And this is the only way this is the only out that we have as a people. This is our greatest plan of escape. Okay, so the caterpillar has 3 stages of life. It's the caterpillar, it's the cocoon experience, or the metamorphosis, if you get there, and then it is the butterfly. So as a child, the caterpillar, we are fascinated by the simple things in life. Okay, we learn to walk, we learn to talk, and the world is a big playground. right? But we also see this behavior going on with adult Black people in entertainment, in every aspect of human existence, but mainly in the entertainment world. We see this behavior where we want to just indulge and satisfy our desires 24/7. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have fun. Of course, fun is an outlet for us. But then there's a thin line between having fun and then crossing that line to go against our core principles as the original people on the planet. And I'm not talking about, you being some perfect individual or anything like that. What I'm talking about is the reality that we're living in that we refuse to change. And so this is childlike behavior or caterpillar frequency. Okay, we are fascinated by the simple things in life. Once we learn to walk and talk, as I said, the world is a big playground. So we fast forward to the teenage years, and this is when we begin to see the emergence of our personality. And we are no longer interested in toys and cartoons. Now let's talk about that for a minute. When you move beyond the caterpillar frequency, then now you're preparing, okay, to have a cocoon experience. You're preparing to go into this journey where we're going to change from our past reality into our future reality. But this cannot be done. You're not going to be able to jump over the cocoon experience or the metamorphosis into a butterfly. That's not going to happen. Okay, you're not going to see a caterpillar just one day turn into a butterfly without this process. And this is a great lesson that nature teaches us. And this is what we need to teach our children, that this cocoon experience, this journey that Black people have been on, is for a greater purpose that we don't yet see. But those who have been orchestrating this for 2,000 years, and I remember this was something that Dr. John Henry Clark made me actually realize. Do you know what it takes in order to pass down a lie of this magnitude for 1800 to almost 2,000 years? Think about that. Do you know how many people are complicit? You talk about you're talking about, how many people have to be complicit with this lie over the millennium, over the centuries? So you're talking about a deliberate act to deceive people. Okay, and I don't think this is something our people grasp, because if you did, you would know that you have to fight against this. Okay, you have to. This is what's in nature. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Okay, so here we are. Okay, we're moving into the teenage stage. We're no longer interested in toys and cartoons. And now we're standing at the door of the cocoon experience. Okay, we're there. Okay, but every time that the original man and woman, or woman and man, get to that point where the cocoon experience begins, then we always look back and say, I don't want to go in that vortex. Okay. Now, that vortex is not going to be open forever. And what is a vortex? A vortex is a area Okay, anywhere in your existence on the planet, okay, or in the universe where there is a spiritual opening, okay. But what happens is those that know the truth about you and who have even gone looking for the God particle by trying to manipulate things at the quantum level, they know that if this was something that you ever embraced again, that it's over for them. So again, they're willing to sacrifice their own people. They're willing to give a certain amount of our people, you know, we refer to them as this fiat, this status, this attention to keep the masses of black people from going into that cocoon. They're willing to do that because they know that once you do, that's why it's so important, like Lance was saying earlier, for us to find a way to communicate beyond their platforms because they are going to, at some point, try to put a lid on the truth and the reality that our people are now beginning to awaken into by demonizing even the words that they have taught us. Anytime it's attached to any type of transformation for us, they demonize it, like the word woke. Okay, so let's talk about the cocoon experience and the journey. This is where our focus has shifted, and so now we're suddenly spending more time in the mirror, right? Grooming ourselves because we become aware that life has many pitfalls that we must learn to avoid and challenges that we must overcome. The same true, or the same is true of the caterpillar. As we talked about earlier, it faces tremendous challenges just to stay alive. And so you see, this is a very powerful lesson that nature teaches us that we can't stay in this caterpillar state. You're not going to survive. Eventually, you will have a spiritual, psychological, economic, and possibly a physical deterioration, okay, or death as you know it. And the reality is that this caterpillar frequency um, has defined the lives of our people simply because we have been told that these things now we see with the P. Diddy situation, that now they have taken away from you when they have used you to break down the actual moral fiber of our people. Okay. And this is how deep this game is. Okay. So as we continue to talk about these three stages of life, we're going to get into how the different aspects of this journey affects us and how our inability, or I shouldn't say inability because we have the natural ability to do it, but our refusal to embrace our natural existence, okay, is used against us, and how this, and I believe that this is at the core of a lot of the stress, the anger, the emotional outbursts that we feel. Because inside of us, we know that we have to escape this reality we're living in. We have to do it. And whether you choose to do it physically, psychologically, or spiritually, you must move beyond the caterpillar frequency. If you don't, then surely this is a death warrant for our people. Um, so the caterpillar also instinctively knows this. It knows that it must, and how it knows this is that it must eat a specific plant food. Okay. And this is when they are in their most vulnerable state. And this also is when Black people are in their most vulnerable state. Okay. So let me read that again. The caterpillar instinct, and I disagree with people, okay, because I'll give you an example, okay. Even ants get more things done than we do, okay. Why? Because they work as one unit. Don't take my word for it. Go observe an anthill, watch a documentary on ants, okay. They get it done. And everybody knows their role. There's no head nigga in charge, okay, or any of this foolishness where you're trying to outshine somebody because, again, we have lost our connection to nature because everything in nature is dependent on each other. And I like to use this analogy because, again, nature is our first teacher and our greatest teacher. Without sun, water, fertile soil, a seed cannot germinate, roots cannot take hold, and trees or whatever it is that is going to be manifested will not happen. Okay, this is a very, very significant lesson from nature. So, what makes you think that you don't need, and see, you've been taught this, okay, on purpose. Because whenever, and this is why there was a law that more than two Black people couldn't conjugate together. Even to this day, when they see three of us together, then it's some type of threat. And that is because of the energy, the electromagnetic energy that's created when we are on the same wavelength. And it is a constant battle to disrupt you from being that. Okay, so let's look into this a little closer. So the caterpillar instinctively knows that it must eat a specific plant in order to move to that cocoon experience. Okay, so you say we are the most intelligent beings on the planet, right? Why is it that we don't instinctively know this? Because it's in us, okay? And yeah, I know people going to be talking about the metaphysical aspect. That's just one aspect because we have to stop letting people put us in a 90-degree angle of interpreting the world. Okay. We're talking about 360 to 720-degree existence. And this encompasses so many different things, so many different factors that we have to look at the different factors and then bring them because they're all intertwined or interconnected. It's just different aspects of it. Okay. So as I was making the point about the ants, I also want to make this point about the caterpillar because that's all it does. It eats the milkweed, and it's almost like it knows that it's all or bust. Like Okay, there's nothing in this reality that's going to prevent me from being focused on eating this plant so that we can metamorphosize into a butterfly. Now, think about this for a second. Do they actually know that this is what's necessary to do that? Because certainly their behavior, okay, their behavior shows that they have some type of intuitive understanding, okay, that they have to continue this behavior. And it's almost, well, it is an addiction because that's all you see when you see caterpillars. That's what they're doing. Um, Now, but from this behavior and this addiction, okay, this is where they're in their most vulnerable state, just like we are. So the various addictions, okay, that they have us, and I'm going to explain to that, focus on, is the exact same thing that is going on with the caterpillar. Okay, and this is why we're in our most vulnerable state. Why? Okay, is because there are pesticides that are sprayed or poisoned on these plants. Imagine that. Okay, because they don't want the monarch butterfly, and that's a whole different subject that maybe I'll get into at some point. But you see, the people who have orchestrated this artificial lifestyle and existence that in reality you live in, they also know they're so against nature that they would kill an innocent insect because they don't want the monarch butterfly to do what it does. And again, I don't want to get off into that, but that's a very, very deep subject, and it made me realize, wow, these people really, really know what they are fighting against. They know that they are fighting against nature. Um, but this is where we're at our most vulnerable state too. Why? Why is it that this is where we're at our most vulnerable state too? Okay, so not only the pesticides, the poisons, but there are predators and other hazards, which is a constant threat to their survival. And this is where the parallels begin to come in. We are the addictions that we have as a people and a community, and the weapons that are thrown at our people every day is a constant battle to survive. And those caterpillars know that if they don't continue to eat that plant, then their chances of getting to that cocoon is little or none. I don't care what you say, they have some type of understanding of this. And we know that it's instinctive, which is another source or form of intelligence. Okay. And this is parallel to us. Now, let's talk about how this is parallel to our existence. From, from this point on, okay, it seems to be a biological or daily focus on the fact that they must continue to eat this plant. And this behavior, like I said, it is where they are most vulnerable. Okay, it is this particular actually behavior and addiction of eating this plant, okay, and experiences with the caterpillar, um, that our actions or our addictions come in other forms. It is no doubt a 90-degree focus that consumes most of our energy. Okay. But here's where the behavior of the caterpillar seems to point to a chilling addiction that is consuming our children. That is consuming our children. Social media and all of the devices we use to access it is our milkweed. Okay, and just as the caterpillar spends every waking hour eating that plant, our children and the majority of adults now display the same behavior when it comes to social media. See, it's this is, and when I tell you that nature is our greatest teacher and our first teacher, this is a fact. And again, this is why they'll block your pineal gland from actually seeing what's in nature. Okay, is because they know that this behavior and that they have us displaying every day is the exact, because they study nature too, they just don't tell you. Okay, in fact, a lot of the information we get, because our people have turned their back on nature, is from the people that study you. Okay, and this is something that Dr. Kojo made me see as well. You don't have to do anything. They've already put it in their most esteemed institutions. They have put it in all their books. Okay, so you basically, the information is there for you, but now you have a greater ability to interpret this information, but you refuse to do it because you've been told that anything that associates you with nature is inferior. Just like the majority of people, our ancestors, were farmers and owned land. That's that's how anybody coming to our land survived, because our people taught them how to farm and how to be connected to nature. But you've been told that when you look to nature as your greatest teacher, then there's some type of inferiority complex involved with that. But again, I want to bring this point home, that one of the reasons, and here's the contradiction here, when you look at nature, the caterpillar is eating the milkweed plant in order to change. So the ones that manipulate us and our children, because all you have to do is look at the way that things are structured to see the natural and unnatural realities that exist. So they flipped it like they do everything. They said, okay, so if the caterpillar is eating the plant in order to move into this metamorphosis stage, right? Then we're going to use an addiction that's just as powerful as the caterpillar eating the plant, with these devices and with this artificial intelligence. And there are good and bad things. Certainly, I'm not saying that artificial intelligence hasn't improved our quality of life in some areas, but there's also a consequence or something attached to that that is outside your natural selves. Okay, but that's a story for another time, right? Um, Unfortunately, many caterpillars don't survive, okay, because they become oblivious to the world around them. Now, I want to make this point here based on that. They become oblivious to the world around them because they're so focused on that plant. And this parallels the behavior of our people. Okay, we're so focused on the fiat. We're so focused on the attention, on the fame. What's going on with P. Diddy? What's going on with Hollywood? What's going on with all these other diversion tactics. And it's interesting that this is all happening now as we move into this election season, okay, which I call the okie doke season for our people. And whenever this happens, you can go back, I've done this 100 years and see that whenever this happens, there is absolutely something they are hiding from Black folks, and that is going on behind the scenes that will have a major impact on our people. And see, again, you look to nature for these answers. Many of the caterpillars do not survive because they are oblivious to the dangers around them. Okay. Only a third of them actually make it. Okay. And you can look directly at our people. You can look at the mass incarceration of our young people and Black people and brown people, but mainly in America of Black people. You can look at that, okay, as one of the consequences around us, okay, that we're focused just like the caterpillar on that plant, that we're not seeing anything else. We're not seeing the pesticides, okay, we're not seeing the poison, we're not seeing the alliances of why they have chosen to align themselves with people from foreign countries to replace Black people. All these things. So as I said before, we operate from a crisis management mode. Once these people, they knew that we weren't unified to stop this. When all other cultures, they knew that one day, okay, and I always say this, I don't understand this about our people, comprehend this about our people. You already know that these weapons are pointed at our people, have always been pointed at our people, yet we continue to refuse to try to meet each other halfway, okay, to have some type of solidarity. We are not going to survive as a people if we don't find a way to reach common goals. We already see this lesson in nature, okay? We already know that we have a tsunami coming at our people that they have already brought here. No, not coming, it's here, okay? And in nature, a tsunami wipes just about everything out, okay? So this tsunami that has been set before our people is a reality that nature is teaching us, that when this happens, when a tsunami is directed towards you, then you have got to go to higher ground or you will drown. Everything that you have on the lower ground, on the caterpillar frequency, is going to be destroyed. So when you look at these various stories that they have come up with in different scripts or what have you, they have known this for 2,000 years. They have known who you are, okay? They have always known about your nature. But again, I go back to the mountaintop experience where you have said, okay, I will bow down to you to have this fiat and this material world that you're giving me. And I will kill my brothers and sisters. I will destroy the Black community. I will get out here and sing these songs that are about death, destruction. Okay, I will do all of this. I will bow down to you. I will worship you and your system if you give me this. I'll even tell you the secrets about my brothers and sisters, what they're doing to try to survive in this wicked system. I'll even give you their secrets and tell you how to stop them and then turn them over to you. This is caterpillar frequency, brothers and sisters. And so let's go back to how nature teaches us this lesson again, because I want to read this again because this is very, very important. Because when this was first revealed to me, I was almost like in a state of shock how this actually paralleled our existence, not only here in America, but throughout the globe, the diaspora. Okay. Many caterpillars don't survive because they become oblivious to the world around them, like we are. Again, they ignore the pesticides sprayed on plants to destroy them. Okay, make no mistake about it, that is the purpose. And the numerous predators in the environment all around them. Similarly, as I mentioned before, we don't see the poisonous predators looking for the opportune time to devour us and our children on social media. This is one of the greatest mistakes that we continue to make as a people. It's not that we don't see it; it's that we don't counteract against it. We don't speak out against it because of fear of retribution of the fiat power that they hold over our people. Because and so, again, I just want to stay basically on point here. But as a sidebar, you have to you have to look at all of the various areas in which are used to keep you in that state. So, fortunately for those caterpillars that do manage to survive this life and death obstacle course, nature has prepared an open or escape route for them. Okay. But however, in order for them to get to the escape route, and now remember, now we're paralleling this in nature to our existence and our reality as a people. However, in order for them to get to the escape route, a miraculous transformation or a metamorphosis, okay, must take place. And it is from this experience of the caterpillar that we see two very significant divine natural laws in full effect. So I'm going to read that again before we go into this, because this is a very, very important lesson that parallels the existence of Black people here, not, like I said, not only in America, but throughout the diaspora. Okay. That nature has provided an escape route or route, however you want to say it. Okay. But in order for them or for us to get to this escape route, a miraculous transformation or metamorphosis must take place. So the definition of metamorphosis is the transformation of a living organism from one state of existence to another, either by natural or supernatural means. Okay. And it is from this experience of the caterpillar that we see two very significant divine natural laws in full effect. And let's talk about what that is. First, something I just want to reiterate something that was played on the video by Dr. George Frazier in our last video session last week, that whenever it's time for you to elevate or to move from a caterpillar frequency to your higher consciousness, then a mountain is put in front of you. This is or a test. The law of relativity or divine testing, okay, and the law of gestation, which is divine timing, teaches us important principles established by the Creator. There are a series of tests that the caterpillar must overcome to reach the next stage of its existence. We have already mentioned that those tests and pitfalls, any one of them could spell disaster for the caterpillar. Okay, any one of those pitfalls, from the poison, okay, from the different they have to deal with the weather. The caterpillars, they have to deal with extreme heat, cold, well, not cold, but mainly extreme heat. They have to deal with other predators in their environment. All of these things that they are oblivious to is a part of what our existence is. Okay, so we've already mentioned that those tests and pitfalls, and any one of them could spell disaster for the caterpillar, just as these pitfalls have spelled disaster for many of our people. Our tests are similar, but only in extreme cases are they potentially fatal for us. Although they are, when you think about whether it's fatal or not, you can think about it in a spiritual and psychologically or psychological sense in the terms of its destructive power with our people. The transition from teenager to young adult is very similar to this. Okay, the tests are both seen, which is overt, and unseen, which is covert. But one thing that is certain, just like the caterpillar, there are many casualties at this stage, and many teenagers have a huge challenge making the transition to young adulthood. And this is very important because when you look at moving from one stage to the next stage in the growth and development of our people, and I'm not just talking about individually, I'm talking about collectively, then we see this playing out. Okay, we see these various casualties of socioeconomic oppression, racism or systemic racism, white supremacy. We see the police brutality, the incarceration of our people. We see the massive unemployment of our young people. We see all of these factors, okay, when you move into the next stage, the teenage stage. And this is where the fight to stop our young, most vulnerable people from getting to that next stage. Okay, this is where this takes place. And as we have seen, this is where the greatest stage for the caterpillar is. Okay, so this is one of the reasons I always say to our people is we cannot teach our young people the same things that we have been taught. This is absolutely counterproductive to our growth and development as a people and as individuals. Um, this is also at this time that the divine law of gestation or timing emerges. Okay. At nature's appointed time, the caterpillar will begin to prepare for its cocoon experience. Okay. So there's an appointed time for us to reclaim our rightful place here on the planet. And as I said earlier, this vortex is open. It's been open. We have not walked into it, but we're being forced into this. Okay, by bringing in millions of people from other countries into our communities. Okay, and this is showing you directly, whether you want to see it or not, how these systems and these people that run these systems, what they think about you. Okay, so as you prepare now to go into this cocoon experience, right? Then people are fighting harder than ever to hold our people back. Okay, and they're sending a tsunami at you to show you that they're going to hold you back. But no matter how strong this test is, okay, it's for our benefit. Because one of the things that's going to happen is it's going to force you now to put down your swords against each other, or your childish behavior towards each other, to now figure out a way to fight back. And certainly we have the means to do that. Okay. We have the means, okay, to do this. But as long as they have you eating that plant and just focused on that, okay, and just focused on the uploads that they're giving you every day, okay, then you are at a vulnerable or in a vulnerable situation. Okay. In other words, nature's appointed time has come, and nothing or no one can delay it or stop its natural course. You have an appointed time too, okay, as an individual and also as a collective consciousness, a community, a Black consciousness that is the original consciousness on the planet that all things evolved from, out of our original concepts. But now is the time. And if you let this time go by this time, there's going to be a heavy consequence that our people are going to pay. Because see, when you get to the cocoon experience now, you see the world differently. One of the things that I'm working with the organizations that I'm working with and dealing with the mass incarceration of our young people, one of the things I'm beginning to see is our people really don't want to look at these. And so you have to deal with other cultures that are saying, that are willing to say, okay, I see that. What can I do to assist in stopping this? Okay. And so now I'm no longer caught up into this about, well, you only deal with Black people and you only look at, no, 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 no. Mm-mm. No. Anybody that's willing to help our young people, I'm 150% for. Okay. I no longer wait the 4 years that the academy has been in existence. The one thing that I've learned is that you have to build this. You cannot depend on our people to help you. Okay, this is a reality. This is a caterpillar frequency. That is a reality. Um, and this was good for me to learn because it propelled me to where I am now. And so now this ensures the success of the academy in order to help our young people. And again, this vortex is open now. This is a time. And my favorite song by Earth, Wind, and Fire, Fantasy, you will find other kind that have been in search of you. Many lives have brought you to recognize it's your life now in review. Because see, you have
Oh, go ahead, brother. Get it, get it.
Bruh, I was listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire last night. I was listening to That's the Way of the World, Devotion, Fantasy. And I realized something. This is why they block our musical geniuses. The reason they block this is because not only is it the music, I was listening to Marvin Gaye too, he is definitely a prophet. It is the frequency in that music. Just like I'll use an example, like the artwork you express. This has 1,000 times more effect on our people, but they have literally, when you go back and listen to our music from the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, this is what propelled us into greatness. This unlocked, we no longer were satisfied with eating the milkweed. We went through the cocoon experience. And I often say to our people, so we can realize something. And me and a brother was talking about this the other day, is that we cannot turn our back on our ancestors' sacrifices. Over 4,000 people lynched, over 150 years in sharecropping, working from can't see morning to can't see night. The greatest achievements in terms of economics, okay, in the history of this country was fueled by our ancestors. Their towns burned down, their businesses, their homes, okay, all of the black cities that were put underwater, all of our women that have been raped. You can just look around the world and see this. We cannot, all the sacrifices that our people face on pain of death, we cannot turn our back on this. The same thing with the music from these eras. We need to play this music in the environment of our children instead of this garbage that have been uploaded to you that somehow you think is something that because every time I turn and on the TV or a device and listen to the music that's being produced in this garbage filled environment that they have our people in, there is no intrinsic value in that music. It's so it's so unfortunate that this is continued to be the teachers of our children, this music, these videos, this death culture of the mind, body, and spirit. But I'm here to tell you today, there's a new sheriff in town. and that sheriff is nature. Okay, and the minute our people embrace our true nature, that's when we are going to see the type of cocoon experience that it will take to get to our butterfly state. And with that, brother, I'll conclude today. I
Thank you so much, brother.
Yes,
Thank you so
sir.
much. Always a pleasure and an honor and something nourishing as opposed to what's out there. They got good people out there, but it's increasing in this lower vibration, even sometimes when it appears to be something good. You know, we have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people who talk righteous, but the vibration behind it is something else, a secret agenda or hidden motivation. And you can pick up on it. And that's what I want to say to everybody. Trust your gut, trust your heart. Look, every insect, most insects have a way of protecting themselves. They may be a little fragile, but they have
Mm-hmm.
antennas. And those antennas are not there for no reason at all, just because we got to understand that
That's right.
insects know how to communicate with each other and they understand how to read the atmosphere around them. You see,
Yeah.
we've broken our antennas by putting these other caps, not the hat that you have on your head, brother, but the symbolic caps, the symbolic caps of the weave, the dead women's DNA on top of our head, and even us, even beyond
Oh
that,
my
what we put
God.
in our
Say that
earphones, what
again.
we pop our head to. Oh, those
Say that
weaves,
again.
the dead DNA of other people who have performed rituals, and we're
Mm,
blocking our own. We're blocking our own connection to the universe, and we're filtering, and not even filtering. We're blocking it. There's a lot of
that is
things
so
that go on in this
true.
world that we don't realize,
Mm,
and it's very important to stay with nature. Look, we're so unique. We're so beautiful. We don't need
mm,
to alter ourselves to fit into. Look, you don't take a size 12 foot and try to put it in a size 7 shoe. You'll never feel right. Vibrated as you are, as the way you are made, accept yourself and get rid of the brainwashing that was put on you and vibrate the way we're supposed to. We should be able to look each other, a stranger, in public in the eye and know exactly what they're thinking and know exactly what they're feeling. We shouldn't even have to talk. We should be able to communicate, and we do sometimes. You know, you're
mm,
at that supermarket checkout line, and there's a racist cashier there, and you're picking up on what's going on in the exchange. You look over to the sister, the brother over there, and you give a look, and you know exactly what it is. You're communicating with each other, but it should go beyond that. You know what I mean? And now we have become so dependent on technology, which it's a double-edged sword that we can use to enhance and to get ourselves better. But we're all in hook, line, and sinker to the point when it's removed from us. We don't know. We can't communicate with each other. It's bad enough that we don't anyway. As a destroyed people, not completely destroyed, but we can be salvaged back. But
mm-hmm.
a lot of us don't seem to want to do that, and that's going to take pulling away from this system as it is. Yeah, I mean, I use the system. I'm in the system. I may
Of
be in the
course.
motherland.
Yeah.
I may have one foot out of it. Maybe two
Yeah.
toes are still in, but I'm
Yeah.
still trying. And that last bit of pulling you away from the system is the hardest. Just like
Yeah.
that last inch of belly fat is the hardest to get off. We have to have discipline. We have to be able to let go. Because I'm telling you, the little bit that I let go, I'm saying it to be nice. The whole lot that I let go, it made me know myself even more. It made me reintroduce myself to who I truly am even more. And I'm so settled on the inside. And even though this is a time of fear mongering and the stuff that they say that's out there, I'm just as calm as can be because I know I'm going to be the winner at the end of the day. And we have
You
to
are.
know that. But we have to unify for that. And we've been
Mm,
saying this for generations. But look, the thing is that if we don't, people are going to really think about it when it's time to do so, and it might be a little too late. Oh my God, we got to get together. You got all the free time in the world now to do so. The foolishness and the okey doke has been going on for decades now. It's been going on long before 911, but let's just use 911 as a marker point in time. That was
mm.
23 years ago, y'all. That's almost a
Wow.
quarter of a century. Where
Wow.
were you when that happened? Not because I'm trying to bring up the incident, I'm just trying to illustrate how time has passed. Are we going to go
Mm,
another 23 years like this with the things that are accelerating even faster? Look, that sets something off. But look at the last 5 years. The last 5 years, more change has happened against us than in the prior 23. The next 2 years is going to be more intense. And behind that, the year behind that, by the time 2030 comes, it's going to be a whole different existence. And we don't understand it because of the creature comforts that are directly hitting our brain through social media, through the drugs, through the crazy sex and ability to watch all this freakishness. It's blocked our mind.
Yes.
What is it like
Ab-
to walk out barefoot? What is it like to go and leave your phone and communicate with a group of people out in nature?
mm,
I mean, can we do that anymore? Do we want to do that anymore? We fall asleep with our phones. We're more intimate with our phones, and they're taking from us. They're reading us. When you can look into a phone and let the phone see your iris, and it
yep.
unlocks. Trust
Yep.
me, it's reading more about you than you could imagine, right? So I
Mhm.
don't want to go off on a tangent. I'm going to do some things, and I want to apologize to everybody for the lack of regular shows that I've been doing during the week because this has been one of the most hectic weeks running up and down. I had people trying to hack into my account. I had to have another card
Oh,
sent to me from America.
yeah.
I got my Starlink, and they were running me around with that. This is what I'm using right now. Even today, like there's a vibration out there. And I just want to say one more thing. When you're on the right path and you're centered with yourself and you know you're chosen, you'll have those agents out there who will directly, for no apparent reason, it seems like, but there is a reason because they pick up on your vibration and it's their job to stop you from what you're supposed to do righteously. See, they won't
Absolutely.
bother you when you fall off the carnal path and fall onto the hedonistic path because they got you. The winos in
Mhm.
the corner all look happy because the negative energy's got them and they can't produce anything while they're stuck there. But when you're on a mission and when you're living clean and when you get up focused to say, what can I do for my people? What can I do to create, to stimulate? This is what I'm all in and committed into my life. You're going to have those bots come at you for no reason, apparently. Expect it. One more thing. Even today, I was coming up on a van. I explained to
Mhm.
the van driver, we don't have to stop the van, but I want to slow down at a particular street because I had to hand some money over to a contractor that's doing work. I just went to
Mhm.
the ATM. I got my new card today, right? Now that's why I was out. I was told him to slow down on this particular street. Let me hand him the money. And he heard me and he responded, but it was kind of weird. So he knew this, right? Why is it that
Mhm.
when I told him and I called the guy to come out to the curb, that this guy jumped into the other lane? There were two lanes. He jumped into the lane that was furthest from the curb and he wouldn't stop. I got calmer. I knew what it was. I
Mhm.
got more calm. He started cussing me out for no reason.
What?
Look, you're taking me past my stop, but you're starting to cuss me out the more calm I got. I knew it was coming. I smiled. I said, it's okay. I know exactly what it is. He
Mhm.
cussed and damned, and the people were looking at him like he was crazy because the people knew I had to get
Wow.
off right. You know what I mean? So you're going to have these attacks for no reason. Do not get involved emotionally in them. It's a spiritual thing, and they know who you are. They may not know exactly who you are, your name, your social security number, your date of birth, but they know who you are, and it upsets them. Your light and your righteousness upsets their demons, and they have to come at you because this is a crucial time. They want to
Yeah.
take you with them. They want to get you upset. I smiled. He dropped me about 3 miles up the road. And I had my buddy on the phone. I said, listen, I'm going to
Wow.
walk down. Yeah, yeah,
What?
that's why I'm late. That's why I was late to the show. That's why I had to put everything together at the last
Oh,
minute. And I said, nothing's
wow.
going to stop me. I had some heavy bags and stuff, but I was determined to get these funds to the brother. You understand? And that's the way it is. And so for the next 2 or 3 days, I'll be sealed in. I will not be dealing with the public outside. I'll be answering voicemails and constructing some shows. But I had a lot to deal with. When I
Yeah.
got the delivery of my Starlink at DHL, I went there. The courier came, rolled his eyes at me, left out, and they said he was coming back to bring it. He left. I didn't get it. I had to come back the next day, and I got the number to the courier. And when I got to the place to pick up the thing, the guy who was there, he said, "I don't see it. It's not there." I said, "Right there. There's the box right there. What is that?" Like everything that can happen this week
Mhm.
can happen. But no, no, no. That's a validation. You have to know that's a validation. I'm more calm. The fighters that have the chaos in the corner, usually they're the ones that are the most calm and going to go out there and win the fight. When the
Oh, yeah.
chaos is introduced to you around, and they try to do these little things out of nowhere, attitudes out of nowhere, I know I'm winning. I came
Oh,
back strong and got everything the way I did. And look, I'm winning. And you never forget that. But you know what? Don't drop your guard. I'm going to keep on swinging like I'm behind on points. So the
oh, yeah.
battle's on. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
hey, you're the perfect brother I know to deal with these frequency wars because absolutely you're 100%. And you think about this script that says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, and that is so true at this point now because as you were saying, they know that this vortex is over, and they're trying to take as many of us down with them because they can't go to this vortex.
Hmm.
Okay, but they're gonna take as many of our people down with them that they can. This
That's
is
right.
a sad reality. We talked about this before a couple of years ago,
Yes.
Lance. All of us are
Yes.
not gonna make it.
No, exactly. The majority are not going to make it. And that's not to say that I'm
Yeah,
better than somebody else, or you're better than somebody else, and we're going to make
right.
it, and they're not. Because you know what? If I fall off the focus, I'm not going to make it. So now,
Exactly.
as each successive round goes by in the fight, you have to hunker down more and focus more, and don't give up
Yeah,
an inch, no matter what it is. Look, you choose the people that you decide to have in your life. You choose those frequencies and energies, and they have to prove
that's
themselves.
right.
Trust is
Yeah,
never given, and this has to be earned. Don't trust
yes.
me. Let me earn your trust. Watch my walk. See how I walk. You can't talk a certain way unless you're well versed in certain things. We have a lot of frauds out here who verbally plagiarize people to fool you,
That's
but
true.
really look behind it. Oh yeah, oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah. There's all types of deception going on, so we just have to hunker down and be who we are. And when you're the
Mm-hmm.
real thing, it upsets the frauds. When you're the real thing, it upsets the frauds. There's a guy in the
Yeah.
neighborhood around Jamaica Avenue, a guy brewer. He used to walk up and down back in the '60s and '70s and try to sell people jewelry that was like 10 karat gold.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
whenever you would say, "Hey, let's go to the pawn shop and let's see what this really is," I will buy it from you. No, it's real, man. It's real. Okay, if it's real, let's just take a little 5 minutes and go over there. He would always walk away because he knew he had fraudulent goods. There are a lot
Mhm.
of people in our lives that are fraudulent, and then they'll tell
Yes.
you, "Don't judge me." Judging is when
Mhm.
you don't know. When you assess somebody and you talk to yourself and your spirit, and it tells you what it is. You're not a dummy once you live life and walk a certain way in a certain frequency. It tells you. How many times have you said to yourself, "Man, I should have listened to my first mind"? Always listen
Mhm.
to your first mind. It'll never
Yeah.
lead you wrong. There's certain intangibles that you can't explain, but you know when something's not right. And right now,
Yeah.
for me, I'm trying to be as all that foolish energy, keep it away from me. There's things I got to do, and I feel so good doing what I do.
That's true. You know, you said a mouthful there. Well, the first thing you said about that dead hair energy, that is that is absolutely 1,000% correct. Because any type of energy that you attach to yourself, whether it's physical, psychological, or
Yes,
spiritual,
yes,
is going to be a counterfeit spirit reacting against you because the majority of what we encounter is unnatural energy. And
that's
so,
right.
like you said, and I remember something you used to say all the time is that these spirits follow you throughout your life. They know who you are.
Right.
They can
They're assigned
cause
to you.
other. Oh yeah, yeah. You manifest them from inside yourself in many cases, but and you attract them
That's right.
by
That's
your
right.
desire. You attract them, and the minute
Exactly.
you put that desire off, there's going to be. This is how you know there's going to be some type of reaction. Like you said, the person got angry at you.
Right.
That has
Right.
happened to me so much. Well, just out of the blue, somebody just look at me and be angry at me, or they may say something
Uh-huh.
crazy. Like I was in Oakland the other day, we just finished, meeting with some of our donors, and then this black lady walked by me. Clearly, she had a mental health problem, and she just walked by me and she said, "What are you looking at?" And I looked
Yep.
around like, and so my girl said, "Is she talking to you?" I was like, "I don't know. She looking at me." And then she said, "What did you just say?" And I was like, it almost made me react. And then I said, no.
Right.
Have a
Right.
good day, sis. I'm out. And I kept
That's
walking.
right. That's right.
Because the way you said it, you know, it would make you react, right? And it was
Yep.
meant for that purpose. And
Exactly.
I'm
Exactly.
not.
Remember,
So
when you react, they're controlling you because
yeah,
you're reacting to their action.
yes,
Always act. If it looks like a reaction and you know it's not your action, that's the key. But like I said,
yeah,
it's an energy war. And people,
yes.
I can tell you so many things, man. I've learned within the last 2 years of my life. And I'm just so glad to be so free and clear right now. People will extend themselves and reach out. Let me tell you something. You could be walking down the street and you can see a person that looks you dead in the eye and they'll get right in your path and get right in front of you to slow you down. Or you're walking and you're holding something in your hand, they try to knock it out your hand. Just, I'm telling you. And then a lot of times they don't even realize it, how they're being
Right.
used because they're an open vessel and they
Exactly.
don't have anything or strength of their own coming.
Hey,
You
you
know what I
ever
mean?
seen that movie with Denzel? Excuse me, I didn't mean to cut you off,
Oh,
Lance.
no, no problem.
That movie with Denzel Washington, where this spirit was jumping of this dead prisoner that he had arrested, and every time one of them touched someone, the spirit would jump into
It
them
go to the next one. Right. I saw
and
a
go.
piece of that. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't
But that's the
remember
way
the
it is,
name
though.
of
No, but that's the way it is. That's the
it.
way it
Yes,
is in real life. Look,
yes,
look, just because you get out of your car and the car is parked and you go inside and go to sleep, you don't see people sitting around the car crying, oh, the car is dead. The energy that drove the car left it. So we
uh,
have to understand that. People say, well, ghosts aren't real or things are, I'm not saying the actual manifestation of Hollywood, which is really a derivative of real life in many
yeah,
cases. You
yeah,
just can't see it. So what do you,
yeah.
so are you gonna cease to exist when your energy's out of your body? You see what I'm saying? You're real right now, but you're not. Your flesh is going back to the earth. The energy
Facts.
that you are will go on. It will go on mainly in an unseen way to the naked eye. Now, the
Yeah.
spirit eye can pick up on certain things. There have been
Hmm.
times I've been vibrating higher than other times, and I would actually catch a glimpse of something. I've seen things, and then
Yeah.
sometimes I go back to a lower way of vibrating just in my life, and you don't understand anything. You do have the intellect to know though what's going on. So, me being up here in the mountains and isolated like this, it has taken me to a whole different level.
I
It
see.
got to the it got to the point where I used to be scared to walk in the backyard because it's dark and there's a wall around the place and there might be snakes or something back there. The
Yeah.
other night I got up, didn't put no mosquito lotion on or nothing like that. Got a wore a t-shirt barefoot and walked way out to the back, touched the wall in pitch blackness, and when nothing touched me. And I came back inside. And I couldn't
Wow.
believe it. When I got inside, I was like, whoa, I really did that. But I was zoned out. I'm like, I don't have to
Wow.
fear nature when I'm in tune. Look, we're supposed to be able to walk around lions and tigers and snakes
Right.
and all kind of
Yeah.
things, and they don't bother us.
But
When
what
they come
happened? They
after us,
gave us Tarzan, right?
see it again?
This was what happened. They gave us Tarzan, and
Yes.
this was a okey doke to fake us out. Okay, so we grew up looking at Tarzan having this control over the animals, but it's really you and I
Exactly.
that that
So,
have
so,
this
so
power.
they want us to look to them for everything. It's
Yes,
us. We should be able to walk out in a lightning storm with lightning dropping all around us and know that it's not going to touch us. When we're cleansed and we are right with ourselves, I'm not saying I'm super cleansed all the way, but I'm cleaner than I was last year. I was cleaner than I was 3 months ago. And so I
yeah.
see the benefits of that,
Mm-hmm.
and then you know how to navigate in places like just out in the world, when they're gonna come with some foolishness or some kind of obstacle, and you chuckle to yourself because it's because you're doing it right. And these bots, these NPCs, they know exactly who you are, and they want to stop you. Keep on your
Yeah,
righteous mission. You'll always be protected, and that's why I say we have nothing to fear, nothing to fear at all. Fear is food for them. They
no
feast
doubt
on your fear, right?
they do. Yes.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm not
that
feeding
movie,
them.
Jeepers Creepers showed that too. Remember, this thing, creature, preyed on the fear of the people it got, right? And so that is you're absolutely right, man. I see that so much when I go out, how they put even in the media, they constantly try to keep you in a state of fear.
Right.
Like, being afraid to live, afraid to do this, worrying about what the consequences. Hey, whatever the consequences is going to be, then that's what it's going to be.
Exactly. Here we are
And I'm going to
looking
live
at,
my life in fear.
and I know you have to go on and say one more thing. Here we are.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you or I, but most people, they're looking at the possible 35, 40, 50 different scenarios and sitting up, there's only going to be one way. When the
yeah.
years go by and you look back on this day or the next year or whatever time coming up when they're fear mongering, when you look back, it's only going to be one way that it happened. Why am I going to worry about the 50 other potential ways? No, I'm not worried. Worry, I show concern, but I don't
Mm-hmm.
worry. Worry is out of control. Worry will have you up at night, wasting energy, killing the balance of your sleep. I
I
show
sleep good
concern
at
for a
night.
certain amount of time, and that's it. Say it again, brother.
Yeah. No, I was saying I sleep good at night
Oh yeah.
because
Oh yeah.
saying is absolutely true. I don't worry about things outside of my control here.
That's
I
right.
just and
That's right.
yeah, but brother, yeah, I didn't
I know you
realize.
have to
Yeah,
go, brother. Yeah, I know you have to
out of
go.
here.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's good. We're gonna do a little rap session show where we just flow like this, man. We're gonna do that. Let me know when you want to do it, because you ignite
Okay,
something in me. But I know you
send
got
me
stuff
that
to do,
link
brother.
you
So
tell us about to participate in the articles that you write or what have you.
I put you in already. Just confirm it.
Oh, okay.
I sent to your email. If you don't see it, look in your spam folder, but it's there. And I'm going to tell everybody to just send me their email address so I can put it in so they can get the articles. I just wrote an article. I put it up in the chat room. I'm going to do maybe one or two more tonight. I really want to get down to that more. But Brother Neil, we'll talk. Thank you so much for sharing your
Yes,
presence and your insight with us. And you're always
thank you.
appreciated. All right?
Thank you, brother. Keep up the great work.
Always. This is what I live for. I'm committed to this all in. All right, brother.
Okay. Peace and
Okay.
love.
Peace. All right. Much love. Yes, family. Yes, family. I had some equipment malfunction, and so I had to work around it. I'm speaking to you through my phone, even though we're operating through the computers. Technical stuff, but I'm chilling right here on the front porch, and I'm just happy things are flowing the way that they are. I'm just happy that I'm manifesting things as they are. And tomorrow I will come with a live show. It may be the same way I like to use my equipment. I have to download some firmware to certain things to upload it so that everything can be balanced. Worst case scenario, it will be like this. And if you can hear me, that's good. Anyway, I'm going to do a little tweaking here and there. I got the, if you go to the site, LanceScurv.com, you'll see the t-shirts that I'm making. And I'm making them in a certain style with certain sayings that have a little punch to it. And I'm going to sign off, but trust me, the content will be coming, but you have to go to LanceScurv.com to see everything. But there will be videos tomorrow, and everything is right on the cusp of being completed. There's a lot of hard work going on here, and I'm just so very happy that I'll be able to unveil what's been hidden for so long and just show the world the hard work that we've been doing. Anyway, much love to you all. Take care. LanceScurv out.
So, hello, this is Martha. Actually, today I got to meet my friend Lance. Yes, I got to meet my friend Lance. This is my first time meeting him in person, and he's a very kind man, seriously. I do talk with him on phone, on WhatsApp, but I've never got to meet him. But today, it's just extraordinary. He's very, anything you want to know about life, anything you want to know about just human, anything you want to know about life, please. YouTube, Telegram, Instagram, Twitter, all the social media channels. You got to find him there. He's very inspiring. He's very positive. If you want anything positive about life, please subscribe to LanceScurv. And then every day you got to see different videos, different talks, different topics about life. See you.